All right, we're going to be doing a video quickly over different things. We're not going to take a whole bunch of time today. This should be very easy. In your journal, what you should title it right now is Multiplying Monomials. All right? And so if you can't see, because it's so stinking small, I'm going to write it a little bit bigger. It's going to be negative 9 n to the power of 9, close parentheses, times n cubed, also n raised to the power of 3. Now, something you need to want to have in your journal is called the product property. So could you please write in your journal, that's supposed to be an R right there, product property. So here's the product property. If I have any number raised to a certain power, and I multiply it to another of the same base, like these are both base A, to another power, you're allowed to take these powers and simply add them together. You're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Give me a number for A. Any number. I'm going to say 5. Right, so if I say 5 to the power of 7 times 5 to the power of, let's say, 6, well, that would be 5 to the power of 13, because 7 plus 6 is 13. Okay? So, right now, you guys see how these both have n's? That means I can take these exponents and simply do what with them? Just add them together. Now, let me explain something. This is going to be kind of ridiculous, all right? So if I say n to the power of 9, you guys know what that actually means? That means n times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's n to the power of 9. And n cubed means what? N times n times n. Well, how many dadgum n's are being multiplied together total? A total of how many? Hopefully you're saying 12 and move on with it. Okay, all right, 12. That's why we're allowed to do what with the exponents? We're allowed to simply add them together. So I know my answer is going to be something n to the power of 12. Now, even though you can't see it, does anybody know what coefficient's in front of this n right here? A 1, you're right, a 1. All right, so what's negative 9 times 1? A negative 9. So one thing you also need to be worried about. See that coefficient? You're going to take that coefficient and multiply it to that coefficient and put it right there. And this is the answer that I'm going to type in to the Khan Academy. And that's how you multiply monomials. You multiply the coefficient to the other coefficient, and you add the exponents. And that's all you got to do. Multiply the coefficient to the other coefficient, and then you just take the exponents and you simply add them together, and voila, you are done. All right, we'll just do one more, and then we'll move on to the next section. Okay? This one we will not take as much time. I will write it a little bit bigger for all to see. All right? So here we have a 3y to the power of 5, and here we have a 5y to the power of 4. Well, what is our coefficients? The 3 and the what? 3 and the 5. So we just got to multiply the 3 times the 5, which is a? It's 15. And then we have to look at the exponents, right? So we have y to the power of 5, y to the power of 4, but more specifically, we got what? A 5 and a 4. We can add those. So what is that going to give us? Boom, we're done. If you guys can't get 100 on this assignment, that's okay. McDonald's isn't even hiring for you. All right? I know, that was awful. But nobody watched these videos anyway. But I don't know, a student said Wendy's is hiring, but I don't know. I think it might be harder to get a job at Wendy's. I don't know. All right. Oh, now guys, I'm not going to show the work on this one, but if you have a negative and a negative, you better turn that to a what? Positive. And what's 3 plus 3? Yeah, so it's going to be r to the what? Power of 6. All right. And notice I'm not writing these down. We're just kind of doing these in our heads because it's that easy. What's 4 times negative 3? Negative 12. And what's 3 plus 3 as well? So I put z to the power of 6. So notice the last two, I just didn't really write anything down. That's how easy. So we're done with this one. Let's move on to the next one. Ooh, pretty. This is a fun one. I like it. So here's what I want you guys to do, okay? What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to title it in your journal, just like so. And then it's going to be very important that you actually draw the model. You're like, what model are we drawing? No, just the model of the rectangle, you guys. Come on. right there. Okay, so draw that out. I'm going to pause the video to give my students a chance to draw stuff. All right, so if we look at this rectangle, does everybody understand how to find the area of a rectangle? How do we find the area of a rectangle? It's the length times the what? Length times the width. You could also sometimes, they say base times what? Base times height. So length times, hold on, there we go. Base times height, or the length times the width. All right, so I don't care whether you call this the base, all right, or this the width, or this the height. It really doesn't matter what you call it, as long as you know that you're multiplying things together. Okay, so it says a rectangle has a height of 3c to the power 4. So what are they calling this distance right here? They're calling it the height, and then it has a width of c squared minus 4c plus 3. So basically you're multiplying it times the base, also known as the width. Okay, so we got to multiply each section together. So what is 3c to the power of 4 times c squared? That's going to be 3c to the power of 6. And what's 3 times a negative 4? That's going to be a negative 12. And c to the power of 4 times 1 more c is c to the power of 5. And then 3 times 3 is, no, it's 9. 3 times 3 is 9. And then we're going to put what? C to the power of 4. So I'm going to erase this height because I don't want you guys to get confused. That's not part of the answer. Okay? So what's my final area that I'm going to write here? 3c to the power of 6 minus 12c to the power of 5 plus 9c to the power of 4. I got to fit all of that inside of that box. So once again, what are we doing? We're multiplying the numbers or the coefficients, and what are we adding? We're adding the exponents. So where would a student mess up? They'd mess up right there. They'd forget to do the 1. So c to the power of 4 times c to the power of 1 is c to the power of 5. They would forget it. All right? So, and it's always helpful if you have a girlfriend that screams at you if you miss it, okay? Apparently, one of my students was saying, it's not going to call out anybody's name, but, you know, apparently his girlfriend was yelling at him, and it really instilled in him that you got to make sure you pay attention to those exponents. All right? All right, and then we have what? Plus 9? Is that correct? C to the power of 4. And we're taking our time. You'll notice I don't want to get this wrong. I'd like to get it right. Because it's just nice seeing that nice work. You know what I'm saying? It's just nice seeing that versus thanks, try again. Okay, so let's do one more, and then we'll just move on. Let's do one more, just to make sure you guys got the concept. So all I want you to do, you don't have to draw everything, just draw this guy. That's it. Just draw it. Make it nice and neat. All right, so what are we going to be multiplying in this box right here? The 2x to the power of 4 and the x squared. So what do we get when we multiply 2x to the power of 4 times x squared? We get 2x to the power of 6. Now, what's the coefficient in front of the x squared? Even though we can't see it, it's a what? It's a 1. So just remember, you need to multiply the coefficients. Okay? But what do we need to do with the exponents? We need to add the exponents. Even though you can't see it, what number's right there for that x? A 1, right? Okay? So we have 8 times 2, and what is 8 times 2? It's a total of 16. And we have x to the power of 1 and x to the power of 4, so that's x to the power of 5. And then, oh man, I don't have any x's. That's okay. It's okay if you don't have any x's, all right? Some of you, it's all right. Yeah, so we got 30 what? 30x to the power of 4. And what are we going to do with these? We're just going to what? Put plus signs, because we're adding this area plus this area plus this area. Now, why can't we add all of these together? Because they're not like terms, right? X to the power of 6 cannot be added to other, they only can be added to other x to the power of 6. So here's what we're going to write that. This is the answer we're going to type in. So we're going to type in 2x raised to the power of 6 plus 16x to the power of 5. Oh. Gotta get a little right arrow there. Plus 30x to the power of 4. Boom, that's all you got to do. All right? Okay, let's see what we got here. I think that's it. Just one more, right? Multiply monomials by polynomials. We got a couple more to do, and that's it. We're gonna call it a day on this video. So here's what I want you to do. We're gonna do a couple of these and make sure you know exactly what to do. Just make sure you always put your answers. I don't know if you guys can see this, but put your answers in what's called standard form. That's huge. Standard form is important. So while you're writing it down, I'm going to write it a little bit bigger. We have 8r squared parentheses r squared minus 2, close parentheses. All right? And all we have to do when we're doing this is to simply distribute this to both terms. All right? We've actually already done it in a way. All right? We've already done it in a way. So check this out. All right, you guys ready? So right here, we've actually done it because we have an 8r squared, and here we have an r squared minus a 2. So it's kind of like the same process that we just did. What is 8r squared times another r squared? That's 8r what? 8r to the power of 4. Just like I would put what? 8r to the power of 4. And what's 8r squared times a negative 2? Negative 16r squared. Just like I would put what? Negative 16r squared. So you guys see how this right here is basically the same as this right here. They're the same. How would the other one look if we did it a little bit differently? It would be what? 2x to the power of 4 times x squared plus 8x plus 15. So do you guys see how this right here with the rectangular boxes dealing with the area model is the same concept as this concept right here? What's the only difference? We're just doing what? Distributing it to both terms, and you're done. So 8r to the power of 4, right, minus 16r to the power of 2. I think we got it. All right, so guys, I'm not going to keep going on because this is all you got to do, all right? And I think that's pretty much it. Okay, you guys see the polynomial quiz? Guess what? That's everything is all combined. So I think you guys can pretty much get this done today. All right? Let's just get it done today. And we can help other people tomorrow if they need help. All right? So hope you guys have a good day, and that's it.